Hey everyone, this week's recipe I came up with totally by accident, but it is awesome for working moms and for people who are just generally busy. You can prep it in the morning before you go to work or, leave for your day. And then when you come home at night, you just throw it in the oven and dinner's ready without doing anything like an hour and a half later. We are gonna start with chopping the vegetables. And just all you need is one pan to put everything in, and I'll explain it as we go. So cauliflower, I love cauliflower because it's a really versatile vegetable. And it basically takes on pretty much any flavor you put with it. So I already washed this and I already rinsed it. So this is just how I cut mine up. I basically just cut off the greens and then you just pull off the little florets. And when you have a little stalk like that, I usually just, cut that off. And you just want to cut it into little 1 to 2 inch chunks. This recipe I came up with by accident because I was trying to roast a chicken on a rack with all these fall vegetables like squash, and I threw some onions in there and carrots. And I got all these fall vegetables from the farmer's market, and I was rushing and I couldn't get the rack to fit into the pan. I was just like, I'm just gonna put the chicken right on the vegetables. And it turned out awesome because as you cook it, all of the juices and the flavor from the chicken went into the vegetables and it turned into this incredible stir fry. This version of the recipe that I'm showing you guys has a little bit more of like an Asian flair because for my palate, the fall vegetables, sometimes when you cook them down, they get a little sweet. And so the first time when I made this by accident, I discovered the technique of how to do this. But then when I, made the stir fry or whatever after it was all cooked, the squash just came out a little sweet, and I tend to like more kind of savory. So that's when I came up with this version of the recipe, which I'm showing you. And this one has more savory flavors versus the fall, autumn, sweet vegetables, but you can totally do that version as well. And I can write that recipe for you guys if you want it. Just ask in the comments and I'll give it to you. These are these bags. They're called bio bags. And they're biodegradable. They make little Ziploc sizes. This is for food scraps. So this, they say, 3 gallon. So what I'll do is a lot of times when I'm prepping at home, I prep right next to my kitchen sink. And I'll hang the bag into the sink. And then I'll tuck my cutting board under one side of it. But here, we can just scoop it in. And it's biodegradable. Okay, awesome. So the next thing we're going to move to are the carrots. Sometimes when I get carrots, I'll just give them a good scrub. These I didn't get from the farmer's market. These are organic from Whole Foods, actually. And whenever I get carrots at Whole Foods and not at the farmer's market, I tend to peel them. So whenever I'm cutting my carrots, I just like doing an inch. They're like an inch wide. And when I was a kid, my mom taught me to cut them on this pretty diagonal. And they do look pretty. They look like little jewels. Okay, so now we're gonna go to an onion. So usually I'll just cut the head and tails off and then just get this one, outside layer off. I'll cut it a nice thick slice like that because it's going to be all mixed up, which you'll see in a second. Hopefully I don't start crying because of the onions. I might. That's one thing I haven't found is a trick to not cry when you're cutting onions. So don't feel bad if you cry when you're cutting it. Even professional chef friends of mine, they're just like, you just deal with it, And now we're just gonna add in a little bit of garlic, a little bit of chopped garlic. Let's put our little scraps in our food scrap bag. This is probably about 5 servings, so let's do 2 cloves of garlic. There's many ways to open garlic. That's just, I don't know, because I've been cooking for so long, you just get these things into your muscles and, My chopper that my friend gave me that I told you guys about in the egg salad recipe. Okay, so we're just gonna toss that in. So now, because this is my more Asian flair, this is what I put on there. Umi plum vinegar, I love. It's fermented umboshi. I think it's UMEBOSHI plums. A little bit goes a long way, so you want to be delicate with how much you put in here, but it's so worth it because it's great and it's 0 calories and tastes amazing. And it's fermented, so that's always good for your gut health biome. Bragg's amino acids, I love. It's a good alternative to soy sauce. I put Bragg's on like everything, and it tastes very similar to soy sauce. This is called Bragg's liquid amino acids, and I love it. And it's just got a great flavor. And it's an alternative to soy, which I like. So you're just gonna mix this all together. We're gonna add a little bit of salt and pepper. So a little salt, okay. Now the umi plum vinegar is salty. So you just wanna, I always put a little bit less salt when I'm using umi plum vinegar. Give it a little toss. I love using toasted sesame oil. Also, a little bit goes a long way. So that's probably like, 1 to 2 tablespoons. So instead of, most of the time when I'm roasting vegetables, I always do olive oil, salt, pepper. But whenever I'm doing something with these kind of flavors, like the umi plum vinegar or the Bragg's amino acids or anything with soy sauce, toasted sesame oil adds such an incredible rich flavor as well as texture. So try that because you'll love it. So this is just a 3-pound chicken. You want 3.5 pounds, because if you have a chicken that's 4.5, 5 pounds, then the vegetables are really, really, really well done and the chicken's not quite cooked yet. So I found from making this recipe that 3 to 3.5 pounds, everything cooks beautifully together. One thing I like doing in general with my chicken is I always love sliding a little slice of organic butter just over the chicken breast, because as it cooks, it melts down and helps keep it really moist. I don't know why I hate that word. So anytime, even if you're roasting chicken, just a regular oven roasted chicken, slide your fingers in there, put in some rosemary, put in some thyme, I'll put in garlic, and then, actually, yeah, let's put some garlic in here, but slide in the butter. Sorry, that looks really gross, but I'm telling you guys, this is like a really cool trick I learned. Because garlic is really yummy with these flavors. A lot of times I'll add a couple little slivers of garlic in here. So now you just plop it on top. So then as it cooks, all the chicken juices and everything go, and all that incredible flavor go right into the vegetables, and they steam right away in this incredible flavor. So this recipe was a very happy accident. What we're gonna do to prep this is you're gonna take some aluminum foil. I really like this company too because they use recycled aluminum foil, which I really like. This company, if you care, is awesome. They also have really great parchment paper and other baking supplies. I'm trying to do the right thing. We're all trying to do the right thing. This is ready to go right into the oven. So a lot of times what I'll do is either the night before I go to work or in the morning, I'll prep this whole thing, I'll wrap it up, and when I come home from work, I just pull it out of the fridge just like this, preheat the oven to 350, and in an hour and a half, you're gonna have your chicken stir fry. One thing you wanna do is, after it cooks for about 60 minutes, what I'll do is I'll take off the tin foil. So we'll see you in 60 minutes. So this has been cooking for 60 minutes in an oven at 350 degrees. Now we're gonna pull this off. Woo! So you're gonna put it in the oven for another 30 minutes. You wanna give the vegetables a little toss so they're really, that amazing chicken juice and everything is evenly distributed on there. So now we're gonna put this back in for 30 minutes so that the chicken starts getting golden on the top. Looks pretty. Okay, so we took the chicken out of the oven. At my home, I usually cook it for about an hour and a half. Here, this one cooked in about an hour and 20 minutes. So just depending on the size of your chicken and your oven, that will change the cook time a little bit. Again, this one is about 3.2 pounds and it cooked in an hour and 20 minutes. So for this particular recipe, I pull the skin off because the next thing we're gonna do is pull off all of the meat and throw the meat in with the vegetables. Again, I just use my hands. They're clean. Wash your hands. If you're someone that loves the chicken skin, keep it on. Why not? And just throw it in with the rest of the stuff. So I pull off the skin. Sorry, this part is not very graceful. When I cook, I use my hands and just put them right in there, as you guys know. So however you guys want to do this won't look too graceful, but sometimes for me, it's just easier to just use clean hands to get the chicken off with the assistance of a nice sharp knife. And you want to get off, you know, as much as you can, because this is a beautiful organic chicken, so you don't want to waste it. I'm not like a graceful butcher, which is also why I tend to use my hands. There's still some chicken left on the bone, so sometimes what I'll do is I'll throw this into a pot with some vegetables and some water, or I'll throw this into the crock pot and I'll make a little chicken broth with it. Because I like using the bones and the carcass, and because this is beautiful organic chicken, I hate wasting it, but I got off the most amount of meat that I kind of could with my fingers on the knife. So that's something that you can do with that, so you don't feel like you're wasting it. You can make a broth out of it, which is great. I like serving this with a little bit of brown rice. This is brown rice that I cooked in chicken broth that I already made and some water. This is sprouted brown rice. It's a company that I like. And now, again, because I love my kitchen scissors, we're just gonna cut this chicken up into little pieces. You can see all these amazing chicken juices in there that this has been cooking in. I usually do like, you know, inch big chunks like that. The other thing too is some people get a little nervous about cooking chickens because the skin down closest to on the inside of the breast, down near the bone, people get worried about like, did I cook it enough? Does it look pink? Like, what's up with that? So one cool thing about this recipe as well is you just take this whole roasting pan, put it right on a burner, and you just give it a little stir fry. If you think that your chicken might not be fully cooked, just keep it on the burner for a little while longer and just stir fry it for longer and it'll cook. I love this recipe because it's time saving, it's easy, it's healthy, and it heats up great as a leftover the next day. So now what you want to do is, I just kind of pile it right next to my brown rice. Always fresh black pepper. That is your oven roasted stir fry. Thanks so much for watching. Turn on notifications so you know when I put up a new video. And I so hope this recipe helps make your life easier and that you guys enjoy it.